School for me was very challenging because of what was going on in my home life and trying to go to school and pay attention and focus. It was very difficult. My teachers had a very hard time with me. At times I could be the greatest student, but then when situations was going on at home, I would be your worst nightmare as a student. And so I spent a lot of time in ISS. I spent a lot of time in OSS as well. And my family couldn't tell me what to do. I had no structure, no guidance. I was my own kid. I did whatever I wanted to do, and that was the bottom line. You couldn't tell me anything. And my elementary school years, thankfully I had some teachers that didn't give up on me, that continued to fight for me. When they wanted to send me to another school, they said, nah, I think he needs to be here. And because of their love and their support, I was able to go through elementary school and get to middle school. Well, middle school, they placed me in EH and ESE classes, which were kids with learning disability and behavior problems. I remember going into a class where I had to stay in all day long. I couldn't leave the class unless I had a chaperone. There was a bathroom already in the classroom, and the work was just way too easy. And my teacher at the time was like, we got to do something with this kid, because once I finished my work, I would just go crazy and have everybody else in the classroom doing the same thing. If I was angry, I'd throw desk. They had a timeout room, and they would just put me in there to calm down. But for the most part, I just did whatever I wanted to do. Thankfully, there was a few people at the school who was willing to push and fight for me. And so when they got ready to kick me out of middle school, they stood up and said, I think this kid can make it. And one of those people was a guy by the name of Coach Miller, was the first person to ever sit down and have a conversation with me. And because of that, I believe that moment really changed my life when it comes to school and schoolwork. That year I made the football team, basketball team, and baseball team. And he picked me over a kid that should have made the team, but it kept me out of trouble. It kept me it kept my grades up. And they were just like, all right, this is a totally different kid. But it was because I knew that he believed in me, and I knew that he wanted me to do the right thing. That summer comes and I get to high school, and I had a 0.9 GPA. So they put me in dropout prevention. Well, I wanted to play football the following year, and so they stuck me in summer school. My GPA came up, and I ended up getting in a fight right after basketball. See, the school was just like, hey, we're not kicking you out, but we're asking you to leave. And I ended up going to a Christian private school, which was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. When I got to that school, I was surrounded by awesome teachers, awesome pastors, awesome friends, and the school really changed my life. I went from a DC student to a BC student and even AB Honor Roll student. It was because my teachers they believed in me, thanks to Miss Brown and Miss Magali, my English teachers, who really pushed me in that as well. And so I went from a bad student to a great student, and that helped me to earn my way to college. And when you look at a kid who's acting out and behaving wrong in school, most of the time we're ready to throw them away. But I guarantee you that with the right people around that kid and the right people believing in them, that kid will and can turn out to be successful, just like I did.